Hello, I'm Mike Porter with Print Mail Consultants for Mailing Systems Technology. We haven't done a What Were They Thinking video for quite some time. It's not due to lack of material, I can assure you. I have a file full of examples, and I've chosen a few to share with you today. Now, in the past in this series, we focused on mistakes that happened in document operations that resulted in the release of private information or other kinds of public embarrassment. Those kind of things are still happening, but today I'd like to talk about waste. Over the last couple of years, document operations managers have taken all kinds of measures to reduce expenses. They've cut staff, they've delayed the upgrading of hardware or software, they maybe trimmed training. Those are all pretty obvious moves to make. But once those are done, finding other opportunities to reduce waste means looking in other places. Today I've got 3 examples to share with you to show you what I mean. At one point in time, I had a health savings account. These are like the flex spending accounts that are featured in many employee benefit programs. Well, my insurance changed and I didn't need the health savings account anymore, so I used the money in there to pay for doctor bills. Once all the funds were exhausted, I asked the bank to close the account. They didn't do it right away, and by the end of the month, 2 cents got posted to my account as interest. This was over a year ago. Now let me show you all the mail that's been generated from that 2-cent account since then. I'll hold these up so you can see them. Here are quarterly statements, 2 of those, printed in highlight color with pie charts. This is a letter explaining about a mistake that they made that seemed to confuse some of the account holders. At the end of the year, I got a tax form. They sent me a debit card so that I could access my 2 cents. And of course a PIN number notification mailing sent separately so I could use the debit cards. And then finally, 4 monthly statements. Instead of the single-page quarterly statements that they had been sending out, they've gone to 3-page monthly statements, an increase in paper consumption of about 1,100%. Now, each one of these documents included my statement balance of 2 cents and indicated my lack of activity with the account. It wouldn't take much an analysis for the bank to figure out that my needs for this kind of an account has probably changed and offer to close it for me. Over the past year, they've spent nearly $5 in postage and a lot of money on time and resources and materials on a 2-cent account. It'll be interesting to see how long this goes before they figure it out. What about your shop, though? How many pieces of transactional mail that's irrelevant, unnecessary, or just downright silly do you send out every month? What would it take to find out how many inactive, low balance, or zero balance accounts there are, and what kind of difference that would make in your volumes? It's probably a good idea to get somebody in there to find out. I pulled this one out of the file as an example of wasteful direct mail. Allstate wants to sell me boat insurance. I can get coverage for 80 cents a day. And this embossed card here tells me that I can save 40%. Now that would be great if I owned a boat, but I don't. I never have. And as a matter of fact, I'm not particularly fond of the water in any case. Why Allstate decided to send me this solicitation, I'll never know. It was 100% waste in my case. Sending direct mail to recipients without understanding the relevance to those particular people is horribly wasteful. Besides, it messes up the response metrics that the marketing people rely on and have to keep within a certain range. I think we should be putting systems in place to evaluate the response potential on every single piece that we put into the mail on an individual basis. If it's hopeless, then let's not mail it. Getting poor response rates is only going to discourage additional efforts in direct mail, which is not good news for us in this business. Okay, here's another example of wasteful direct mail. I belong to the Office Max frequent buyer club called Max Perks. I sign up for all these things. partly to see what the company's going to do with the information I give them. Mostly that's disappointing. But OfficeMax here sent me coupons and some discount cards to my home in Texas where I've lived for 3 years. That's great. The only trouble is, right up here, it lists the store where they suggest that I should redeem these coupons, and it's an address in Oregon. Now, I probably lived in Oregon when I first set up my MaxPerks account, but that was 8 years and 4 states ago. How much you want to bet that OfficeMax used Noka to correct my mailing address, as they should, but never bothered to update the database field that points to the store that's closest to my home? Now, sure, I could redeem these coupons in Texas, but what if I didn't know that there was an OfficeMax just a half a mile away from my home? I might take my business to a competitor, never knowing how convenient OfficeMax really was. So these coupons could go to waste just because I didn't realize that it was easy for me to redeem them. As mailers, we need to keep digging deeper to find ways to cut costs and ensure that mail remains a viable communications channel. If my personal mail is any indication, there's still plenty of opportunities to reduce waste. I've got a lot more stories to tell and a lot more things in my What Were They Thinking file to share with you, but we're out of time for right now. But thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll do this again.